Hi and welcome to Green Door Gourmet. We're here in the Culinary Education Centre and today I'm going to show you a great recipe for fried okra. For this recipe you will need 8 ounces of okra, 2 cups plain flour, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of paprika, a quarter teaspoon of ground black pepper, 2 cups of buttermilk, 2 cups of cornmeal, and 2 cups of corn grits, and then about 4 cups of oil for frying, such as a vegetable, canola, or peanut oil. Okra, when it's finger-sized, is perfect for either chopping or keeping whole, and you really don't need to remove too much of the stem. In fact, where it starts to taper off is where I like to slice it. That way it keeps together for frying. Larger stems you can cut into 2 or 3 pieces. So once you have your washed and chopped okra, it's simply a 4-step process from there, beginning with seasoned flour. For 2 cups plain flour, so we're going to use 1 tablespoon, this is kosher salt, 1 teaspoon of granulated garlic or garlic powder, half a teaspoon of paprika, and then a quarter teaspoon of black pepper. And then you're simply going to whisk these together so that they become evenly dispersed throughout the flour. So you'll also need some buttermilk, and I have the Fabulous Cruise Dairy Farm buttermilk here, about 2 cups in a separate bowl from the flour, and in a separate bowl as well you're going to need cornmeal, and I like to use corn grits. And here I have the Shelton Farms cornmeal and yellow corn grits. I think that the grits give you a little more texture to the final product, which resists becoming soggy or soft when it begins to cool. This is called a two-handed technique, wet hand and dry hand. So you'll take the okra that's cut with your wet hand and then place that into the seasoned flour, and then with your dry hand you'll then toss them with that seasoned flour, and then using your dry hand you'll place them in the buttermilk, and with your wet hand you're going to toss them in that buttermilk until they're evenly coated. Place them in the cornmeal and corn grits mixture, and using your dry hand toss them with the cornmeal and corn grits until they're evenly coated. I like to use a Lodge cast iron Dutch oven for the process of heating up oil. You have a very strong and evenly heating material with the cast iron that holds its temperature well when you're adding cold product to the hot oil. And I'm using the oil that is at about 365 degrees Fahrenheit. So then I'm going to take handfuls of the okra and just gently lower that in. You don't want to crowd too many into the oil at once, but about 20 or 30 pieces should be good. And then you want to prepare a place to allow the excess oil to drain from the okra. If your grease drops too low, below about 355 degrees, it will have a harder time crisping up the okra and the cornmeal breading, and that's where it will create a soggy product. So using a good amount of oil in a large pan and small batches keeps that temperature hot. So after about 2 minutes, we have beautifully golden okra, hot and fresh out of the oil. I do like to sprinkle them with a little extra salt when they're fresh out of that fryer, as that oil will soak up some of that salt and give it a good seasoning. Click next recipe for a short video on oven fried okra.